celebrated to talk about the Portuguese expansion and everything. So we are watching right in front of us the monastery of Belém, which is a beautiful portal. Do you want to go there, or do you just want to pass? Okay, no problem. I'm just sitting.
The church is absolutely amazing.
So cuidado aí com o cavalo.
Oh,
so
the beautiful horse.
This is
Look
the facade.
and the leg.
This is the south facade
Hello.
that we are watching right here in front of us, and you see that Mother Mary is right in front of. It's right at the middle of the facade.
It's very beautiful.
Right here, and it's protecting the whole country. It's protecting the whole enterprise of an expansion. So when we think about that, Portugal started the expansion in 1434, this is the official date. In 1498, Vasco da Gama, that very emblematic sailor, arrives to India. And this is extremely important because the king that is ruling at that time, he is already building this new church. There was already a chapel here, and he says, I'm building a new church, a bigger one, so that the sailors feel comfortable before leaving. So suddenly Vasco da Gama arrives to India and he has more money, right? He does a very good deal, and he decides to take 20% of all the business income to produce this big church. So it's highly symbolic. It celebrates the expansion. It celebrates the arrival of Vasco da Gama in India, and then later on to Brazil, of course. So it's a very emblematic place. Also, the rest of the monastery that you can see that it's extremely long was also used later on in the 40s by our dictator Salazar, when he decides to make a big exhibition site, a world exhibition site, right here in Belém, to promote the Portuguese identity, nationality, and expansion. And so he was sitting over there at that balcony that we can see, doing a big parade with his militaries, with his soldiers, sitting on horses, very beautiful, very theatrical, of course, to promote this idea of a big empire, that Portugal was still a big empire at that time, with a lot of territories in Africa, of course. And so this whole area was then cleaned, made a little bit better. We have this beautiful imperial gardens and everything surrounding it. That is built for this big exhibition site that was held here at the beginning of the 40s. Of course, it was the worst timing ever, because this is the beginning of the Second World War. So obviously we had much less people than we were expecting. So from here, I'm just asking how... All sold out. It's a community work, so people sit together, talk together while they are doing this repetitive work.
What is named this street?
This is Pastéis de Belém, or Pastel de Nata. So Pastel de Belém because it's in Belém. You see, it's the custard. And now let me show you how they are filled. And here they are filled.
Yes, they put in the cream.
Yes, here they put the crème brûlée.
Crème brûlée, wow, crème brûlée.
It's a great idea, right? And then they are going to go to the oven.
Oh, I think it's beautiful.
It's a croissant with a crème brûlée.
Croissant with the crème brûlée. So I need to try.
Yes, we are going to do that.
Very nice.
Shall we go?
There we go. Let's go. And see, actually, here's the fabric. Wow. Exciting. Exciting. This magnificent lady, see? Show me everything. She will make actress. Beautiful lady. What's over there? Wow. Ah, this is when I finish.
When they are finished, they look like this golden,
Wow.
baked.
You know, this is, I never eat this one.
No?
I think so this is amazing, eh?
Yes.
Wow.
And warm even better.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And of course, the place itself is super beautiful. Ricotta,
Yeah.
which is very traditional from the south of the Iberian Peninsula. So we have still in some places in Portugal. These are very beautiful, all hand painted, you see, but much smaller than the traditional tiles. And here with these naive kind of designs. Que baixa o quê?
I take one this one.
A segunda fatia a contar tem.
Take one here.
Sim.
I take one this one. And I take also one this one. Everything in X.
Este?
Yeah.
Just these ones. The old recipes, this one extremely old recipe of the custard tarts.
Interesting.
In here, also extremely beautiful. This tile panel shows us the monastery Portugal, but in 1609. So before the big earthquake of Lisbon was in 1755, but it didn't destroy the most that was much closer to the water, so it survived much better this big earthquake. The first transatlantic flight, not so many people know that this was done by Portuguese people. We are not very good in marketing, you know.
Before Lindbergh.
Before Lindbergh, true, that is. So on the other side, the south bank of Lisbon is a more industrial area. Nowadays, we don't have so many industries because most of them either bankrupted with the revolution in 1974, or some people needed to run away because they were searched by the Communist Party that almost took care of Portugal after the revolution, or because, well, we are now part of European Union, and it was decided that the Portuguese, or that Portugal, the country, should be more profitable in terms of services. Opening of this place. The first one was built with plaster and wood, so that they could dismantle it after the big exhibition site. But it was such a success that the dictator decided to rebuild it as it is today, with this kind of stone, with this kind of materials. And it was built and opened then in the 60s. So we have 32 characters of the history of Portugal: sailors, how do you say, priests, writers, artists, scientists, that were all taking part of this big enterprise, the expansion of Portugal. In the front, the one with the big hat, that's Henry the Navigator. So the only woman that we have in this monument is actually his mother, Philippa of Lancaster, a Windsor princess that got married with the King of Portugal, King John I, in 1385. Okay. So small steps where people can sit or even put the feet inside of the water. So this has changed dramatically the habits of people, of course. So people do come more often here, do picnics, just lie in the grass, not only foreigners but also Portuguese people. So it has changed also the way of living the city, I would say. This beautiful blue building nowadays belongs to the Navy, but it was the place where the king used to control all the products coming from other places. The so-called Casa de India, India's house. So this was the name given to the place of a warehouse, a big warehouse, where all the products coming from other shores were controlled in terms of business. So in Casa de India you could find apes, elephants, pineapples, that was extremely rare back in those days, all sorts of spices, of course, textiles, tapestries, or even pigments, and of course slaves. So the slave market was right here at the Casa da India. It lasted until the 18th, but not the facade. So the facade remained. So you have a very detailed Renaissance style kind of facade. And then the inside was completely devastated by the big earthquake. Last year we had 2 earthquakes, 5.3. One in in August, and another was in March, right?
Yes.
Here in the city? Or?
One was closer to Lisbon, was on the south bank, and another was in the south of Portugal. So we are going up towards the cathedral. We can already see a little bit the cathedral over there. But before, we are passing in front of St. Anthony's Church. We know St. Anthony from Padua, right? St. Anthony is the patron of Padua in Italy, but he is born in Lisbon.
Oh.
He becomes a very beloved preacher in Padua, where he passes away, and that's why we usually know St. Anthony as the patron of Padua of Italy. Right close to it, the Cathedral of Lisbon, right here. It's a building that tells us that story of a city built in layers upon layers. So it was a temple.
Would you like to visit inside?
No.
So you see this stone over here to the right, which is still a Roman stone.
Yeah.
It was then transformed into a mosque by the Arabs, and then transformed into a church by the Portuguese. So in terms of a building, it's very interesting because we see different epochs in just one place. Right here, this one. Oh, sorry, this is automatic.
It was the emergency brake. Sorry for that.
Did we run over somebody?
Someone stepped outside of the sidewalk.
Oh.
Here to the left-hand side, for instance, nowadays we have these beautiful buildings with different colored tiles, but behind it and before these buildings, we used to have a big Roman theater, a theater for 4,000 people facing the riverfront. If you look up the street over there, we still see parts of that Roman theater.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have the interpretation center right in front of it. But the main structure, unfortunately, we lost because of the big earthquake. But the castle used to be over there, and it used to have a wall that would cross until here and further until the riverfront, closing the city, protecting the city from people coming inside. So we are passing really to the oldest part of the city of Lisbon, called Alfama. If we go further to the right, which is not possible to pass, of course, only the trams. It has one of the narrowest streets in the city. Only one car passes by, and if you are in the sidewalk, you have to cut your nails.
It's tight.
I think that the weather is becoming warmer.
Yeah, good. Yes.
Precisely where we were when we stopped the car. Okay?
Right.
So you can see
Yes.
that higher point with the trees.
Yes.
We were right there.
Huh.
So this part of the city developed in the 16th and 17th century, becoming the new elite area. Then, of course, with the big earthquake, a big part of it collapsed.
Right.
And then throughout the 19th century, this part of the city starts to gain a new life as well. So these buildings that we are seeing right now to the left, these are more 19th century, together with shops, warehouses that nowadays are the best hype, hipster, trendy kind of bars, and some restaurants, international kind of restaurants mostly.
So would you say that if one bought a residence
here, it will be more expensive.
Yes,
because you're-
this is one of the. Podemos dar a voltinha aqui ao jardim.
Sim. Ah, aqui. Ah, pensei que eu ia ver.